Hello, I'm Gwen Madoc, and I'm here again today to give another talk on writing techniques. Today I want to talk about the 5 vital elements in the novel. The creation of a successful page-turning novel that reaches publication involves many contributing elements and factors. The new writer must make it his business to study and understand what these elements are and what they do. Here is a selection of just 5 of those elements. Let's discuss each element in turn to understand what each one is and what its function is in the novel. It will be noted that these 5 elements, although discussed separately, inevitably interact with each other. The complete novel is the sum of its many parts. So, element number 1, tight writing. What is meant by tight writing? Well, among other things, it means the writing is spare, lean, that is to say, every word used must earn its place in the novel. It also means that the language used is at its most simple, and short sentences and paragraphs are the best, saying exactly what the writer wants to convey to the reader. There should be no extraneous words or phrases included, which are there to pad out the prose or to demonstrate the writer's erudition. Goes without saying that long descriptions of locations or characters defeats tight writing, and also it defeats pace. And pace and tight writing go hand in hand. It is during the final editing that tight writing is best achieved, after the act of creativity is over. The writer can then examine his work with a cool eye, eliminating anything that is superfluous. Now then, element number 2, pertinent dialogue. Dialogue in the novel should not be just a lot of idle chatter. Dialogue is a valuable tool when it is apt. It drives the plot forward and aids that other vital component, pace. It is through apt dialogue that the reader grasps what the writer is trying to say, and also what is happening in the novel, and gives the reader the illusion of being part of the story itself, giving the illusion that the reader is at the key character's elbow right through all the action. Dialogue helps the reader to follow and understand the twists and the turns of the plot. Apt dialogue also helps to deepen characterization. The reader can size up the characters by what they say and how they say it. Idle and pointless dialogue is completely unhelpful to the reader and defeats tight writing. Characterization is the 3rd element. Perhaps creating plausible, rounded characters is the most important element of all in creating a page-turning novel. To create living characters, their creator, the writer, must believe in them utterly. They should reside in his head, and he should be aware of them constantly, even when he is not engaged in the actual writing. And it's a good thing when the writer starts to see that the characters are talking to him, that they have a dialogue between them, that the character is telling him things and helping him along with the writing, actually. That is a very good sign. To create living characters, the writer must know everything there is to know about them. Their family background, their social position, their hopes and dreams, their dreads and their fears. Most of all, the writer must know the character's ambitions and goals. The writer must know whether, without any doubt, how the character will react in any given situation. The character's speech patterns, views and opinions will enhance his plausibility for the reader. If the reader does not know or understand his character, if the writer does not know or understand his characters, then there is no hope that the reader will, which will result in lack of interest. The characters a writer creates must be living, breathing entities. Now, element number 4, point of view. Now, I've spoken about point of view before, but it's well worth going over it again. Getting the point of view right in the novel is a make or break element. I think I've tried to stress that before. Understanding the ramifications of getting point of view wrong is important to the writer. The difference in succeeding and failing to publish. That's what it amounts to. For some reason, an explanation of how to maintain the integrity of the point of view is difficult to give and understand, but once the new writer has grasped it, and the penny drops, so to speak, it appears quite simple. Basically, the conventions are thus. A. One point of view character per scene. B. To enter the point of view of another character means to begin a new scene. Not a new paragraph, but a new scene. Multiple points of view in any given scene or even a paragraph kills story for the reader. The reader needs one main character to follow in the story, or at the most 2. Minor characters will also have their points of view in their own scenes, and the reader will accept this because they have already attached themselves, their empathy, to the main character, but will be curious about being in the minds of other characters also, which better helps them to understand the plot and action. The final element is number 5, conflict. What is conflict and how does it enrich the plot? Well, conflict is the opposite of harmony. Conflict is when the reader is looking what the reader is looking for in a novel, as it creates interest and excitement. Conflict can arise as 2 different characters compete in striving for opposite goals. Conflict can also occur when one character is at war with himself. That is, when dubious desires within him clash with guilt and conscience. A character can be in conflict with the elements as well, where perhaps his life is at stake. To sum up, conflict is battle. When opposing forces confront each other, it is all the more exciting for the reader when one opponent is all-powerful and the other weak, a sort of David and Goliath situation, if you will. Conflict is present when the main character has a dominant obstacle to conquer. Most all action is conflict in one degree or another. Well, these are the 5 of the many elements that create a publishable novel, a page-turner. It is hard to say which element is the most important, but all have their part to play, and it is in the new writer's interest to make the extra effort to understand how they work and what they can do in making a success of their writing. Well, that's all I have to say today, folks, and I will hope to be back with a new episode of Writing Techniques very shortly. Thank you very much for listening.